You are on India Today podcasts and you are in the sledging room. So then we are back in the sledging room.
Yeah.
I'm back from a short break.
Yeah.
You're about to go on one. You're about to go on one. But I'm still a little hungover from my trip down to this back of Beyond's mansion.
Yeah.
You know, such history and such luxury. And the fact is that, for 2 days, I just didn't do anything. Very rare.
It's like the selectors.
I was coming to know. No, I mean, no, God, what am I saying?
You can't say they did not do anything.
They've selected
of
the
course.
best
Yeah.
possible team. But did they also need a break before making certain calls? Because there's been a lot of backlash.
Mm.
So, I mean, it's been a few days, but the backlash hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
The criticism hasn't stopped.
No.
Yeah.
Chiteshwar Pujara dropped. Ajinkya Rahane, who was dropped, made a comeback in the WTC final
Yeah.
as a backup player,
Yeah.
scored runs, is now vice-captain. Rohit, how long will he be captain? I mean,
And Virat.
Sarfaraz Khan, again, snubbed. And not just Sarfaraz Khan, we should
a
be
lot of
pointing fingers at other players as well. I mean, not pointing fingers in an accusatory tone, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baba Indrajit,
Mm.
Abhimanyu Ishwaran, a lot of these guys have been overlooked for a couple of years now. What was your first reaction when you say Pujara dropped? And there's another guy who's more or less had the same poor run.
Yeah.
He's retained his place.
Yeah.
You take 186 from Virat Kohli's
Yeah.
list of scores and you take out 2 scores from Chiteshwar Pujara
Yeah.
in Bangladesh. Their average is more or less as bad as.
Raj, I would argue that Virat Kohli, stat-wise also, he has had a poorer run than Pujara in the last World Test
Yeah.
Championship cycle
Yes.
at least.
Yeah.
And the number of impact knocks that Virat Kohli has played is nowhere comparable to Chiteshwar
Exactly.
Pujara
Has
in
he
the
played-
last 2 cycles. That
has
is
he-
what I'm saying. He has not played anything. That is not
I was coming
come
to
to
that
my
only.
mind at all.
Has he
As
played
in,
any-
this might look like a traditional U-turn, but if you're gonna drop a player of Pujara's caliber, of course he has failed in the last few innings, but then how can you justify Virat's place in the team? What has he done in the last few years?
Good point.
And let's count that 521 from Pujara in that historic series in Australia. From then on, if you look at it, I don't see any big Virat impact.
Rohit, Pujara.
Hmm.
I'm not naming the second opener because there's been a
Yeah.
musical chair.
Yes.
Rohit, Pujara, Virat, Rahane.
Hmm.
Right? Pujara has been dropped, and this is the third time he's been dropped from the
Yes.
test team in recent memory over the last 10 years. Rahane was dropped. Rohit, what has he done? You're talking about Virat.
Hmm.
How many impact knocks has Rohit had? He scored 100 against
England,
Australia
yes.
And one against England
this year, against Australia this year, and
Yeah.
against England 2 years back.
2 years back. That is
And in India also he scored 100, and in England also he scored 100.
Yes, exactly. I mean, these 200s in the last 2.5 years, 2 years.
But Raj, would you be so critical of Rohit because
Yes.
he was never considered
Yes.
a test player?
No, but then
His second
he's
win started in
captain now.
2019.
He's captain now. I mean, look, okay, maybe you can't drop all your senior pros together.
Yes. Yes.
Now, the question is Pujara being singled out again? Or is this a warning sign,
Bilkul.
a warning bell for Rohit and Virat?
Hmm.
Perform or perish, out. Is this, or is this just unfair on Chiteshwar Pujara this time?
I think it's unfair on Pujara.
Hmm.
You saw what Gavaskar said on India today.
Yeah.
That Chiteshwar Pujara is the nicest guy you have.
Hmm.
So you bring him back. He will score those runs. Then you feel like you have to drop someone. You drop him out. He will not say anything. Coach will go and convey a message. Okay, you can come back. You have to score runs because we have to try new guys.
Yeah.
So we are dropping you. You'll drop them. But guys like Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, even you talk about Rahane, none of these have a better average than Pujara in last 1 year.
Hmm.
Pujara is the only guy who has scored
Hmm.
at an average of over 40
Yeah.
in last 1 year, I think, since he came back. And now he's been dropped.
But Raj, you can agree and disagree with Saurav's statement. Like, you have to start it from somewhere. The transition has to start from somewhere.
But why Pujara every time?
Exactly. Why not
Virat Kohli?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody will ask questions of Virat Kohli. Look at the kind of shots that he played in that
Yeah.
final, especially the second innings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sunil Gavaskar was livid.
Hmm.
There was a lot of criticism.
Hmm.
So if you, even if you say so much as should this be the last chance for Virat Kohli to prove himself?
Yeah.
There will be a backlash from certain quarters.
Hmm.
Rohit Sharma, oh no, but he's done this. So has Pujara. Why aren't you dropping Virat Kohli? Because of his heroics in the past. Because he scored so many test hundreds. Rohit Sharma,
In the distant past, but that is no,
doesn't
Virat
matter.
Kohli.
Pujara,
Hmm.
2018-19, that historic
exactly.
series.
Yes.
He was the highest run scorer.
And 2021, 2021.
Gutsy,
Yeah.
gutsy. He didn't get 100,
Yeah.
but gutsy knocks. I
Hmm.
mean, talk of Sydney, talk of
Yeah.
Brisbane.
Yes.
Had Pujara not stood like a rock, okay, you could argue over his strike rate.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy has been dropped for his
Strike rate
strike rate
in the
issues as
past.
well,
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Under Virat Kohli.
under Virat and Ravi Shastri.
Hmm.
Now, Virat Kohli, how long a rope does he get?
Hmm.
My question is simple.
Hmm.
Had he been playing for Australia or England or South Africa, would he have got that long a rope?
But that has always happened in Indian cricket.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
continuing to happen. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But,
Hmm.
even if you look at it that way, Tendulkar,
Hmm.
well past his 35 or 34, when he was there, Dravid, Lakshman, they continued to score runs.
Yes.
Saurav Ganguly scored a lot of runs.
Hmm.
It wasn't like they sort of started fading out with 40s and,
And
50s.
whenever they were dropped, they had the opportunity to go back to domestic cricket. At whatever age they were dropped, they went back to domestic
When
cricket.
you're dropping Pujara like that, are you also sending out a message that, look, Pujara is a much lesser player than Virat Kohli?
Exactly.
And we're not going to be
Yes.
equal.
That seems to be the message. If you can drop one player, no, you don't have to drop 4 senior players. You can drop 2 of them.
No,
right?
why I'm making this point is
Yeah.
because Tendulkar was obviously not dropped.
Hmm.
Was Dravid dropped from the team like that after playing 100 test matches? Was VVS Lakshman dropped? Saurav Ganguly, yes.
Yes. Or only was dropped.
But then there were other board dynamics.
Yes.
Yes.
So you've dropping Pujara constantly. You dropped Rahane once.
Hmm.
And there is no question on Virat Kohli's form.
Yeah.
Will that ever be addressed?
I don't think so. Unless and until
So he can continue to
selectors-
fail in the West Indies and he'll still be an integral part of this
Mm.
team.
That has been happening.
2025
Right.
cycle. You need that number 4 spot. Senior
You
in the
see,
number 4
last 2
spot.
years, what has Virat Kohli done? Like you pointed out,
Yeah.
except that 180 plus knock against Australia on that kind of flat track in Ahmedabad,
Hmm.
what has Virat Kohli done? In that World Test Championship final second innings, he was
Hmm.
looking very good. Then he comes back,
Hmm.
he plays a seventh something line ball,
Yeah.
and he gifts his wicket.
Looking good in the middle has become the new yardstick.
Yes.
Ruturaj Gaikwad, despite all his say, he looks good in the middle in the IPL.
Yeah. So
So he gets a
Yeah.
call up.
Raj, before we go to Ruturaj Gaikwad and the youngsters, do you think, frankly tell me, do you think you agree with the decision to drop Chiteshwar Pujara? Should Virat also have been dropped?
As long as a message has been passed,
Has
either
that been
said or
passed?
unsaid. No, that's what I was coming to. Either said or unsaid, written or not written.
Hmm.
That look, this is Pujara now.
Yeah.
Next could be one of these guys.
Okay, if Virat doesn't get big scores in the West Indies, what would you do? For the next test series that India are going to play is in South Africa.
I wouldn't drop Virat Kohli before the World Cup.
Hmm.
Take a call after the tour of South Africa.
Yeah.
Because it has
But
to
the
be gradual
problem is-
transition.
But the problem is, you have not picked a new captain, as in a captain.
A young
You've stuck
captain.
with Rohit Sharma. Let's put it that way. You've stuck with Rohit Sharma, who's 36 now.
Hmm.
He'll be 38 by the time the World Test Championship final comes. We also discussed in the
You're
last
saying
episode.
India
like
will play for
yes,
sure.
Exactly.
By the time the World Test Championship final comes, is what I said. I didn't say that India will play the final.
No, it sounded
Not.
like
So, and also Rohit Sharma will be 38. And we also discussed in the last episode of the Sledging Room podcast that if you have to start the transition, you have to start now.
Hmm.
And what are you playing next in South Africa in December, January
Yeah.
2022, 2023, 2024?
Yeah.
So, can you try out youngsters there if some of them fail
but
here?
you'll have to at some point. You
Yeah.
can't say, look, okay, the new number 3, let's say Yashasvi Jaiswal or Shubman Gill, whoever that turns out to be in the West Indies, didn't perform well. And we don't want to go with an inexperienced batting lineup in South Africa. Then you go back to the same batting lineup,
Yes.
which flopped in 2020,
Pujara come back.
2021, 2022.
Pujara come back in South Africa.
I mean, you
cannot
never
be
know.
ruled out.
You never know with this bunch of selectors, right?
Yeah, cannot be ruled
With this selection committee, you don't know.
Yeah.
Because look at the way it has happened over the last 2 years. KL Rahul
Hmm.
comes back into the test team after the IPL. I mean, not this. That was a different selection committee. Rahane,
Hmm.
by the way, he wasn't even in the original squad to play the
Yes,
WDC final.
yes.
He only got into the squad because Shreyas Iyer was
And
injured.
Rahul Dravid said that in a press conference before the World Test Championship final.
Yeah.
That we didn't originally have him in the plans, but this is Not a one-off opportunity.
This is not a one-off opportunity. And in the next series, what happens? He's
Vice
India's
captain.
vice captain.
Yeah.
Now, you're talking of transition. You talked of Rohit Sharma. How long can he continue as captain? He'll be 38 by the time the next WTC final schedule comes up. What has happened gradually? You've had young players named deputies who have taken over as captains thereon. They've been groomed.
Yeah.
Mahendra
Virat
Singh Dhoni
Kohli.
under Anil Kumble. Virat Kohli under MS Dhoni.
Yeah.
That is what has happened.
Yes.
Now, from Virat Kohli's tenure on, you've not really groomed anybody.
Rohit
You
Sharma,
suddenly went to
we
KL
had
Rahul.
Rohit Sharma.
I mean, Rohit Sharma, you know,
Yeah.
he's older than Virat Kohli.
Yeah. You suddenly had KL Rahul.
You suddenly had KL Rahul out.
And then Rishabh
Hardik
Pant.
Pandya is now maybe also also will be looked at as a future ODI captain. But you don't know who could be. I mean, if Shubman Gill has been so consistent, right? You're prepping him up for the future. Why won't you name him vice captain? Is all I'm asking. You now admitted that he's a multi-format cricketer.
Yeah.
He's a multi-format cricketer for you
Yes.
by naming him in the WTC final.
Yeah. Raj, like you discussed when I pitched this idea to you for a story, like he discussed in the video, as in having Rohit Sharma, having reappointed Ajinkya Rahane as the vice captain, there is another angle to it, right? What if Rohit doesn't do well? And you give the hand-holding period to Ajinkya Rahane as captain and appointed
Who is Rahane going to handhold, by the way? Rohit.
No, that is what I am saying. Then you appoint a young vice captain for the South Africa series or for whatever series, whenever Rohit decides to go away, or if he thinks playing 3 formats, leading India in 3 formats is a burden, the first format that he might give up might be Test, right?
You know, a week ago,
Yeah.
the decisions that I had to make was what I have for lunch and what I order for dinner. And now, looking at how the selectors have messed it up,
Khichdi.
it's Rahane as vice captain. He was dropped, that guy. You wouldn't have had him back. By the way, what if Rahane hadn't come back? Tell me, who would have been vice captain then?
Exactly. And even if he came back, had Pat Cummins not bowled at no ball, failure in first innings, he would also have been dropped. Because he's not Virat Kohli, he's not Rohit Sharma, he's touchable. You can pick him, you can drop him. You can pick him and drop him.
Raj, both of you, do you see any potential Test vice captaincy candidate? I agree that Rahane is the vice captain right now, but do you have a youngster who?
If Rishabh Pant weren't injured in that accident, it would have been him. Right now, Shubman Gill.
See, you had Bumrah as your captain in England one test.
Yes.
Yeah.
KL Rahul flopped very badly in that South Africa series. You saw what happened.
Yeah.
So you have tried so many people, but trying people because Rohit Sharma was injured or he was resting, you were trying those people. You are not giving them chance on a regular basis. You did not have a vice captain for a long period of time.
Yes.
And suddenly when Rahane comes and performs, you name him vice captain.
No, but if you're making a statement with a vice
Yeah.
captain, are you asking Rohit to look over his shoulder?
I
Or
think yes.
that
I
is
think
exactly-
yes.
Or you appoint
Raj,
a
there are 2 messages from what you said. One, dropping Chiteshwar Pujara is a message for the other senior cricketers in the team to buckle up. And making Ajinkya Rahane as the vice captain is a message to Rohit Sharma.
No, but that's what we are talking about in the sledging
Because-
room. But
Yes.
your cricket stars, by the way, they don't give a damn about outside noise.
Yes.
Outside noise. Would selectors would a selector's words or warnings be outside noise as well?
If the former coach can become
Yeah.
outside noise.
I mean, a former coach has become outside noise.
Maybe
for the
we should
current
check their
captain.
Instagram feeds for the next few days and
Yeah,
get the clues.
Cryptic messages coming in. We'll see what's happening.
Yeah.
but there was a cryptic message somewhere after the squad was announced. Did a selector? But that's the point, right? Even with all due respect to the National Selection Committee, there was a time when, say, Dilip Vansarkar was
Yes.
chairman of selectors, Sandeep Patil was chairman of selectors, Krishnamachari Srikanth.
Yeah.
Now it is also pressure. I mean, on some of the, people wouldn't talk about it, but some of them they don't have as big an aura as the captain and the vice captain for someone to authoritatively say that, listen, this is the team you're going to get.
Yeah.
You have to try this guy out. Obviously, there will be an exchange of ideas.
Yeah.
Can't be my way or the highway. But you also have to go and talk to a senior cricketer and say, look, you know what? We're going to give you this one last phase. Figure out how you're going to move ahead in your career.
Yeah.
Will any of the selectors go and...
Not this crop of selectors. I don't think they I don't think they have the standing as in they can do that. But when you have not played enough test matches.
Can they?
No, they cannot. If you ask me, I don't think they. I think they can't. They don't have the aura. They are not someone who will go. I don't think that they will go and talk to Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, the likes of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, and tell them these guys will not listen to these selectors. I don't think. Because had that been the case, we would have got results.
You know, Saurabh, I'm as
But this conflict of interest clause is also there, which doesn't allow, senior, as in
I agree.
established
I
cricketers
agree,
to
but
get to
then
that
there are
post.
so many cricketers
Yeah.
who would, who would want to apply for these
Yeah.
Yes.
selection committees. But then again, the captain, if it's a big if the captain doesn't listen, if the captain wants to, insist on his own team,
Yeah.
I don't know who is, combining these players. I mean, who's deciding on these combinations? Because you more or less you go and figure out repeated
Yes.
these combinations is
Yes.
repetitive.
Yes.
We talked about the 2021 T20 World Cup
Yeah.
squad, and the batting lineup looked almost the same. And the result was, well, maybe a little better because you went and lost the
Reached the
semi-final.
semi-final, yeah.
You at least reached the semi-final.
Yeah.
But look at what happened, right?
Yeah.
It's
And-
the same old story.
Will this also be a final call? Say, will you have the temptation to bring back Pujara, or will you stick to your call? Will you now you have picked SSV and Ruturaj, regardless of how they perform, will you pick them for South Africa?
Riddhiman Saha was categorically told by Rahul Dravid that, look,
Yes.
we're not going to look at you anymore.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
He was given an honorable way out. And I don't think there was anything wrong with what Dravid did.
Yes.
As the coach,
Yes.
did the coach also say that to Pujara after
Yes.
the WTC final?
Yeah.
Will the coach also have a similar conversation with Rahane, Kohli and Rohit? But what sort of conversation can you have with Rahane now?
Yeah.
I mean, that is more baffling to me than Pujara being dropped. I said, okay, if you drop Pujara, had Rahane not been named vice captain, I would have said bold call. Fine, you dropped him for the third time. And in all fairness, Pujara wasn't doing justice to the number
Yeah.
3 position.
Yeah.
Fine. He went and tried. Fine, he tried. At least unlike the other cricketers, he went and tried.
Yeah.
He went and played domestic cricket. He went and played in England. Rahane played in the Ranji
Yeah.
season. But naming Rahane vice captain after just this one comeback. Before that, you didn't even deem him good enough to be part
Yes.
of your team.
Yeah.
Had Shreyas not been injured, Rahane wouldn't have played the test match. Sort of rightly pointed out. Had Pat Cummins not bowled a no ball, Rahane would have flopped in that
Yeah.
first innings.
Yeah.
Maybe
This-
he would have got just a 40-50 in the second.
This Pujara's dropping looks a little unjust because they have retained the other players.
No,
If
I'm
you had
saying,
gone and taken a bold call of dropping all three of them,
but maybe that is going to be too,
You're not
too
going to
much
see
of a
that, no.
shake-up. That doesn't happen with any team. I wouldn't expect
And
that to
you
happen.
should not do that. Ideally,
keep giving long ropes.
no, you can drop 2 players,
Hmm.
but the point remains
Yeah.
you're dropping the same players on and on again. You dropped Pujara, you brought him, he scored some runs,
Yeah.
he has flopped again, you have dropped him.
Yeah.
Rahane, I think he was dropped for one test in South Africa Series 2018. He comes back, he scores those runs 2 years, 3 years.
Yes.
He was dropped again. I think he was dropped for 13 months. He comes back in the squad because KL Rahul and Shreyas were injured. He scores a lucky 50 because Pat Cummins bowls a no ball, and the next test series is the vice captain.
Every time an Indian squad is announced, I'm very nervous. For the last 2.5 years, because you don't know the future, right? Sarfaraz repeatedly ignored. A player comes back after one match, he's named your vice captain. You drop a player, and 3 months later, he's back again.
Yeah.
Again, you decide to drop him on the basis of 7 test matches. How many test matches did Pujara play after that? It was 6 or 7.
6 or 7. Yes.
Right? Nobody.
And barring that 119 Bangladesh, if you take that out,
Nothing else.
there's nothing.
Nothing. I think he scored a half century in England in that one-off test.
Yes,
match,
yes.
right?
Third innings, I
So
think.
2 or 3 innings of
Yes.
those.
Yes.
I mean, he flopped majorly in India
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
Australia. Virat Kohli, apart from 186, nothing. Like nothing.
No, there have been important contributions
Like-
which he has been
like-
happy with.
40s.
Which he
Yeah,
has been
How many
happy
40s
with.
has
He
he
has looked
scored?
good.
He has
He's
looked
looked
good
good.
in the
Looked
middle.
good.
Yeah.
That's
What
what
else do you
matters.
want?
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
that is what
And some
matters.
inspiring messages on Instagram.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
You know, he failed in that WC final. You know what was more baffling? He scored that 40 odd run
48
on day
49,
4,
yeah.
and then he posted an Instagram message. It looked like he had achieved something big.
Yeah.
Virat Kohli.
That is what was more disappointing was you have set yourself some Himalayan standards, right? What he has done in Test cricket is you can't disregard that. But if you're going through a lean patch, you are going through a lean patch. When he scored that 186 against Australia in Ahmedabad, he himself said that I was not happy with a few of my knocks in the past. But if you go back 12 months, when he was going through a lean patch, he was defending it, saying that I was still making important
Yeah,
contributions.
This is what
I am not worried about landmarks. But when you get to a landmark, your tone changes.
Look at the way Joe Root has continued to evolve in Test cricket.
Yeah.
Look at the way Kane Williamson has done
It's actually baffling to even think that Joe Root and KL Rahul played the Under-19 World Cup together.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
KL Rahul is still a budding, talented
He
youngster.
will always be a budding talented youngster.
Joe
He will
Root is
retire
an
as a budding
absolute
talent
legend.
youngster.
Yeah.
Look at the way Steve Smith stands up in these big test
Exactly.
matches.
Yes.
Exactly.
WTC final, what happened?
Yes.
Australia were in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, they were.
Obviously, Travis had played a blinder,
Yeah.
but Steve Smith,
Yeah.
he knows this is the big occasion.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, they played like England against us.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Exactly. You know, they were so authoritative. And to see them, when you saw the first day of the Ashes test, Pat Cummins, regardless of whether they won the test or not, they were rattled by that approach.
Of course.
And they had a defensive field.
Of course.
But the
were
way
right.
they played against India, it didn't look like that.
Kane Williamson, Joe Root, Steve Smith, David
Kane
Warner, he's
Williamson.
phasing out.
Yes.
Kane Williamson, all of these guys, they
Yeah.
were being talked of as the big four, big five
Yes.
of the era. Again, Warner has phased out. He will probably retire sometime this year. Maybe you won't see him play any more test cricket after the Ashes. Who knows? But let's talk of Kane Williamson. Stands up in important test matches.
World
still.
Test Championship final.
Yes.
He did.
Yes.
He did.
Even after stepping down as captain in the series against Sri
Yes.
Lanka,
Yes.
played some gems.
Yes.
Steve Smith comes to the WDC final, is absolutely destructive.
Hmm.
Joe Root is brilliant in both innings.
Joe Root is batting at another
Joe
level.
Root,
right?
wherever he
Another
goes,
level.
wherever he goes, whether it's Australia, England,
Yeah.
in Asia also, he stepped up.
I think in last 3 years, he has
Yeah.
been scoring centuries for fun. Every
Yes.
2 matches, he's scoring 100.
And what does Virat Kohli do?
Yeah.
He hasn't scored apart from the 186,
Yeah.
by the November of this year, it'll be 4 years.
4
And
years.
obviously, if you don't score anything in the West Indies, it'll be 4 years and
4
one
years,
test
yes.
match 100.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And premier batter,
Premier
In your
batter.
team.
Your number one batter.
whom you can't question,
Generational
whom you
batter.
can't drop because you
He's
can't
not
send
just
that
your number
message.
one batter. He's a generational batter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Top 5, Fab 4, Fab 5.
Hmm.
I think this Fab 4 concept has gone now.
Yeah. It's only
Because there's no
Fab,
Virat Kohli. Fab 2, Fab
3.
3, Fab.
So many of these former Australian cricketers, they said this one thing, that this
Yeah.
is culture in Indian cricket about
Yeah.
greats, about legends.
Hmm.
And consequently, there is no Sarfaraz Khan.
No way
Is he
about
not fit? Is he not disciplined? I mean,
it. Yeah.
what's the story? What are the stories that are being sent out there?
Yeah. First.
I could have used another word, but I'm just
Yeah.
sent. and
Yeah. First. there was a
Stories being
report-
transmitted.
Yeah. First, he was reportedly having off-field issues,
Yeah.
discipline issues.
Okay.
And one of the
Such
most
as what?
baffling.
Have you heard anything? I haven't heard anything
Yeah.
about his
Yeah.
indiscipline
Yeah.
or
And one of
lack
the most
of lack
baffling
thereof.
thing was a selector was in the stands and he celebrated and people didn't like his celebration, it seems.
So that story also changed later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The name of the selector
The
changed.
name of the selector also changed.
story also
and the
changed.
story also changed.
Because from what I've heard, this story also
Yeah.
kind of stresses on the fact that it was
Mm.
he was celebrating with his teammates.
Yes.
That gesture was towards his teammates. And that's what I had also heard. I wasn't there at the ground.
Mm.
But from people who were there, they categorically said that, look, that celebration wasn't towards any selector.
Mm.
Because I remember Chetan Sharma had also, he also stood up and he applauded.
That correction has been made, by the way.
That correction was made. But why the story? I mean, that's what these are the things that baffle me.
And let's not
Suddenly
talk about,
these
let's not
stories
talk
come
about
out.
fitness, Raj. That aspect of the story, let's not go there at all. Do
No,
you
but-
have 11 Virat Kohlis in your team? No.
I'll tell you
Do you
what.
have a fit captain?
Exactly. Let's get to that
If you're
point.
not fit enough, can you
Yeah.
bat for 2 days
Exactly.
in a Ranji game?
And then come back
And
to
he
field.
will field.
It's India's premier domestic tournament.
Yeah.
You've been you've been batting for 2 days,
Yeah.
scoring a 100.
And not those hundreds that come at the top or hundreds that are inconsequential.
Yeah.
When the team is in trouble, he's always stepped up
Yeah.
for Mumbai.
The guy has scored in Vijay Trophy. The guy has scored in Ranji
Yeah.
Trophy.
Yeah.
He has scored in Dalip Trophy.
Yeah.
He has been scoring tons of runs for last 2-3 years.
Hmm.
What is wrong?
What is Sarfaraz's average? 79.65.
79.
What is Ruturaj Gaikwad's average?
42.
42.
Yeah.
But he looks good while facing some premium pacers in
Hmm.
IPL.
But is that, Raj, since you both have brought up the topic, is it completely unfair to make those calls? Like, can't you? So Ruturaj is not a bad player. You and I know. Everybody knows that. He has scored runs in the first class cricket. It's not like he has never played a red ball
No.
game and you're inducting someone there. No, I'm saying IPL is not a simple platform to score runs, right? You face high quality bowlers and the pressure there is extreme. So are you okay with that Ruturaj call? Are you completely okay? Can we look at IPL performances for some time?
No,
picking
no.
up
There are
ex cricketers?
there are three ways of looking at it. I
Yeah.
did in my show earlier today. I said that look,
Hmm.
maybe the IPL is the final finishing school before landing on the international stage. Okay,
Yeah.
there is one way of looking at it.
Hmm.
The second way that I want to look at it
Hmm.
is to say that look, if you're scoring runs in the IPL,
Hmm.
you need to be drafted into the T20I team.
Yes.
That can't be good IPL performances in itself. Can't be a
Yardstick.
platform or
Yeah.
a yardstick to get into the Indian
Ticket.
test team.
Yes.
A third way to look at it is you're looking at someone like Yashasvi Jaiswal, phenomenal average, smaller sample size than Sarfaraz Khan.
Hmm.
But Yashasvi Jaiswal he stood up to the pressure of the IPL.
Yes.
Ruturaj Gaikwad, I have always believed that look, for a domestic cricketer to be
Hmm.
considered for Indian selection in the test team, you need to be averaging about 50, over 50, 55, because mostly you're playing on very flat tracks.
Hmm.
Ruturaj has 42, which is a lot of other batters will have much better averages.
Exactly.
But again, Ruturaj Gaikwad, in the last 2 or 3 IPL seasons, he's been phenomenal.
Hmm.
Which means you can soak in the pressure. And nobody's arguing the techniques. You know,
Yeah.
they're all young cricketers.
You know,
so they
exactly.
will have that.
my problem is not Ruturaj Gaikwad being selected.
Hmm.
My problem is people like Sarfaraz Khan, Ayuman Yushram. Why are they not being given a chance?
Hmm.
Sunil Gavaskar said,
Hmm.
stop playing Ranji Trophy.
Hmm.
Because you say Ranji Trophy is the premier domestic tournament in
Hmm.
India.
Hmm.
These guys have been scoring runs and runs
Hmm.
and runs. What else should they do? You are picking up players on the basis of IPL performances. Good.
Hmm.
As he rightly pointed out,
Hmm.
you pick them up in the T20I side.
Hmm.
But why in the test side? And then you will come up and say, we have not been able to perform.
No, but I didn't say that for Yashasvi Jaiswal.
No, I am talking about the overall
Yeah,
impact.
yeah.
It is not about Ruturaj being selected. It is about people like Sarfaraz Khan, people like Ayuman Yushram, and there are a lot of other guys.
Hmm.
Priyank Panchal, all, and
Hmm.
they have been called up to the squad.
Baba Indrajit.
They have been with the squad. They have not been given any chance. 2
Hmm.
years, 3 years. They are also, I
Yeah.
think, 30, 31.
Yeah. Abhimanyu Ishwaran, I think, travelled with the team a couple of times.
Yeah.
Abhimanyu Ishwaran at least has been part of it. I mean, Baba Indrajit, for
Hmm.
instance, 27,
28.
28-year-old guy, consistent performer.
Hmm.
He's nowhere in the fray.
Yeah.
I mean, the other problems that the selection committee
Even
doesn't
he
even
was
address
not
the
even
media.
big-
So you can't ask
Exactly.
questions.
Yes.
Yeah. Should that change, Raj?
Of course, that should change. Make it transparent.
Hmm.
Was Sarfaraz discussed?
Did it happen in the past or frequently?
Very frequently.
Yeah.
I remember every time a selection team was announced,
Hmm.
it was announced in front of the entire media and you could ask questions.
Yes.
The secretary was there,
Hmm.
the chief selector was there,
Yeah.
and you could ask questions.
Yeah.
Now, over the last 3 years, I've seen 2 press conferences.
Yes.
Hmm.
One was around that Virat Kohli controversy, and then again
One in the middle of
the T20
T20
World
World
Cup.
Cup last year. Yes.
Let's say Sarfaraz was discussed.
Hmm.
He's still in the fray.
Yeah.
Has anybody told him what? I mean,
He
Akash
needs to
Chopra
do.
pointed out something very, very
Yeah.
valid. Has this been communicated to him?
Hmm.
And how do you decide fitness?
Yeah.
Your body shape could be different.
And he has also cleared whatever the necessary fitness score that is.
Exactly.
Yes. The guy is clearing your test.
Hmm.
Sunil Gavaskar said, test match fitness
Hmm.
or any cricket fitness is you are fit to bat,
Hmm.
you are fit to field, you are fit
Yeah.
to bowl.
Yeah.
For however long time your team needs you to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
if
no, is fitness body shape is what I'm trying to figure out.
the selectors, you can go and ask the selectors this question.
Raj,
The
I'm-
selectors don't take questions.
yeah. Selectors, I don't know whether they don't take questions or whether they have no platform to take questions. I have no clue.
They have the platform.
Come to the sledging room. We'll take questions.
yeah. But Raj, if you're talking about fitness for Sarfaraz Khan,
Yeah.
how many times has Rohit Sharma missed important tours due to fitness issues?
Several.
Yeah.
Even before he was captain.
Leave alone Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah, one of your premium pacers, he has not been able to recover from the recovery.
So once Bumrah recovers,
Yeah.
will he go through the grind of domestic cricket?
No.
Once Shreyas Iyer recovers, will he go through the grind of domestic cricket? Shreyas Iyer is injured. How often has he been injured?
Yeah, and one of you're talking about limited overs captain. Who else in the world can say that I will not play one format because I have to earn my place?
Yes.
Hardik Pandya, he has been injury prone. If you don't want to play that format, announce retirement from that format. Why are you still saying that?
No, but he doesn't have to. No, that look.
I will earn my place. I don't want to earn my-
He doesn't have to. You figure out a better all round. That's not Hardik Pandya's problem. That's the team management's problem. There are other all rounders that you don't want to look
Yeah,
at.
Hardik Pandya went out.
Hmm.
I think Venkatesh Iyer was tried.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Shivam Dubey was tried.
Hmm.
Look,
Nobody clicked.
you are blaming the selectors, okay, for what are we saying? That, they have been weak in certain points. Their selection calls have been questioned. That means the team management has had the sway over team selection.
Yes.
What have we done with these players?
Yeah.
What have we done with these players? The BCCI organizes A tours for you. Your A tours are the best structure in the world.
Yes.
You have shadow tours. You have this, you have that, you have money, you have riches in domestic cricket. And yet the players that you're picking up are the same over and over again. Surya Kumar Yadav, what wrong did he do to be left out of the test team then? You pick him, you drop him. You pick him, you leave him out. What on earth is going on?
Whom are you now blaming?
And
Should the selectors be blamed or someone else take
The
the
team
blame?
management. Blame the team management. I mean, if you hold sway over the selection committee, then that means there's something wrong with the team management and the
Yes.
calls that you
Team management includes the captain.
and the coach.
Absolutely. Coach and captain are the main members of team management, right?
Yeah.
Leadership group.
The fact
Rest
that
is all outside noise.
it's all outside noise. So, what is the crux of this team selection to the West Indies? Same team.
Yes.
Pujara dropped again. Same fall guy.
Rohit retained as captain.
Rohit retained as captain.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was a surprise really, because we discussed that if he went to the West Indies, we were sure he would be captain. Rahane back as vice captain.
The most shocking aspect.
Is this the last scope for Virat Kohli to do something about his test future? Maybe if not after the West Indies tour, will the selectors look at a new number 4 after South Africa?
Yeah.
If Kohli doesn't perform by then.
Looking good. Look good for a
But
couple of
I mean,
sessions.
even then, how often has he looked good?
Yeah.
He looked good for a patch on day 4 in the WTC
Yes.
final.
Yeah.
I think the last
What a shot
Yeah.
on the final day.
the first session, couple of overs in the morning session. And
Have you not been brave enough, Raj? Look at the selections that England and Australia have done. Australia gave Travis Head a free license, right?
Yeah.
He's not a traditional
No.
red ball player,
No.
right? But he's succeeding.
Travis Head for Australia, Harry Brook for England. Even Joe Root has
Johnny
remodeled his
Bairstow.
team.
Johnny Bairstow.
You have kept out a wicketkeeper like Ben Foakes, right?
Yes, Ben Fuchs is out.
And Johnny Bairstow.
I
has
mean,
been-
Josh Butler would also fit into this test team so
Exactly.
beautifully. He doesn't find a play.
Yeah.
By the way, you're talking of freedom,
Yeah.
right? These cricketers probably don't even get that kind of freedom in the one day and the T20 team for India. You don't care about strike rate in T20 cricket, and you're talking of an
Strike
aggressive
rate,
mode
yeah.
in Test cricket.
Yeah.
However, you will drop someone for strike rate issues in Test cricket,
That is in the
even
past.
though you may not
That
agree with.
cricket has evolved.
Even though you don't think strike rate is important in the
In
T20
T20,
format.
yes.
Yeah. Cricket has evolved.
The hypocrisy.
That's Indian cricket for you.
Yeah.
That's bizarre, but that's the way of the world now.
Who are Raj, these? What should they do? Like you asked the question, right? What should a Sarfaraz Khan do? Abhimanyu Ishwaran do?
I think
What should they do in domestic
so
cricket?
for
Should they continue
Sarfaraz,
playing domestic
I
cricket?
think it's more about optics.
Hmm.
Because if you see that this is becoming a repetitive issue, maybe work on your body shape. I don't know. Now maybe he needs to work on his body shape, because how do you judge the fitness of a cricketer?
But you never know. They might change the selection committee. Someone else comes in and Sarfaraz is picked.
Is it about the selection committee or the team management? That's the other question.
But
Yeah, that is
also
So,
a new selection.
This is a
committee,
kind of different selection committee to the one that Chetan Sharma added.
yeah.
There's a new selection. There's a new
Yeah.
chairman of selectors. What
At
issue?
least a certain MSK Prasad came to the press and answered questions more often than
A
these
little
guys.
more regularly than
Yes.
Shiv Chandra Das hasn't addressed the media yet, has he? I don't
No,
think so.
no.
So you really can't put your finger on
Yeah.
a particular problem. There are several problems. The problem starts right at the top with Rohit Sharma's captaincy.
Hmm.
Very strange. Certain decisions are
Yeah.
nerve-wrackingly difficult to understand. His batting has been abysmal.
Hmm.
You don't have a regular opening partner yet. You've got Shubman Gill. What happens if when KL Rahul is back? We're talking the WTC final. What if KL Rahul is scoring runs in domestic cricket again? I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether
Can he
he'll play
play
domestic cricket.
No,
I don't think he will play domestic cricket.
He's already.
Once he's fit, he will be back in the
He
team.
was Joe Root's batchmate at the 119.
So once he's fit, he'll be back.
That is the most
He'll
shocking
get
thing.
straight. He'll find his way straight into the middle,
Yes, I think so.
like Jasprit Bumrah did last year.
Yes.
And
At
he
least in the
came-
ODI format, I wouldn't
So
question that.
one more question.
Yeah.
So Pujara is dropped. Rahane is the test vice captain. You picked up Rahane because these two guys were not there. Iyer and Rahul. Once they are fit, will they be picked?
So will you leave the vice captain audio?
Or the guy like Yashasvi Jaiswal is going, if he plays at number 3, scores big runs, if he will be dropped for
No, but you
You'll
need
have-
more than runs. You need optics. Karun Nair got a triple 100. He was left out after that.
Yes.
Things can happen. Gosh. This has
As
left
a-
me so confused.
As a cricketer, you should have Instagram influencers and all that. hire a couple of them.
No, but I really want to reach out to our listeners and our viewers as well. Please write into us at pods@indiatoday.com and ping us on 8588
Yeah.
966 because you let us know if you're as confused as us, because this has rattled me.
Yes.
I saw this while I was traveling and I was thinking to myself, again.
You even
Same old story.
check for the blue tick in the BCCI Twitter handle.
No, but that Rahane decision made me think about you. U-turn. Dropped. Comes back. Vice-captain.
So I'm not the only one who's
You're not the
doing
only one.
Yes.
And also, if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, please feel free to comment and rate us. That's very important for us to understand how you're taking the sledge and the sledging room in with us. But yes, it's been baffling. But we'll come back with a lot more. But quickly before we go,
Yeah.
Is this the way for Indian cricket, the Test team particularly, that these legends, the big names, they should now start looking over their shoulders and said, if it's happened to Pujara for the third time,
Yeah.
so quickly after he's made a comeback,
Yeah.
it can happen to us. And also Rahane's reward has been immediate.
Yes. Both things are happening.
Both things have happened.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
they should. There's no other way because they might lose their form with age and all that.
Yeah.
So make the best use of the time that is there.
Yeah.
And after 2 successive defeats, the fans would also want India to progress to the final, leave alone winning the final, because it might be a difficult route this time.
Yeah.
So get there, buckle up, score some runs.
Also, Ashwin would feel a little hard done by.
Yes.
He's in the team. He's one of your greatest match winners ever in Test cricket,
He's the number one test bowler.
which also tells you that, look, he's not still going to be a surety overseas.
No, he's not.
And let's not talk about him not getting captaincy at all. As in, you never know.
One of the greatest cricket mind. But
Perhaps by the time he retires, he could well be the greatest captain India ever had. Who knows?
I will wait for his book when he retires. I will wait for his book.
Right then, on that note, we'll have to call it time out on the sledging room because the Ashes are also heating up. We'll
Yes.
discuss a lot on that
Yeah.
in our next episode, unless there are some other surprises thrown out. On the Indian
T20
cricket
squad
team.
hasn't come yet.
That is something that we'll have to wait and watch. But I don't think there'll be too many surprises in
No,
there.
will you pick Rohit Sharma or Virat Kohli? Whether they have
Obviously
been
not.
rested?
They'll be rested.
They are rested.
They'll be rested. 5 T20s, I don't see any of them playing it. And anyway, I don't think they're...
Yeah, in a
But they
ODI World
haven't
Cup year.
retired from the T20 format. But in an ODI World Cup year, tests and ODI should suffice. But on that note, thank you so much for joining us. And please do come back next week because there will be a lot more intensity
Yes.
on the sledging room once we've cleared our heads over this confusion.
And also the second Ashes test will be
Second Ashes test.
will be almost done.
We'll
Australia
be able to bring you a lot
Australia
of
getting
perspective.
rolled out in 3 days.
Yes.
Basball will triumph this time. Alrighty then. Have a great week. We'll see you soon.